And now to the next presenter, please, from Mrs. Dewi Utary for the title Self-Awareness and Motivation Toward Online Learning During COVID-19 Pandemic Among Medical Students. Mrs. Dewi Utary, have you joined here?
Yes.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear your voice clearly. You can present your
Okay.
PowerPoint now.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity for me to present my research on the second Strada International Conference on Health 2020. And let me introduce myself. I'm Dewi. I'm from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Islam Al-Azhar Mataram, West Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia. And today I will present my research about self-awareness and motivation toward online learning during COVID-19 pandemic among medical students. Next, please. Next. Okay. As we know, globally, over 1.2 billion students are out of the classroom because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This condition also affect to medical students in Indonesia. Next. Next, please. Next slide, please. Okay. And what about the purpose of this research? This research is to examine the relationship between self-awareness and motivation associated with COVID-19 prevention behavior among medical students of Universitas Islam Al-Azhar. Next. Next slide, please. And this research used a cross-sectional survey design with a total of 156 medical students were enrolled using purposive sampling technique. The independent variable of this research was self-awareness and the dependent variable was motivation. The data of this research were collected using a Google Form questionnaire and analyzed with chi-square test. Next, please. For the result, we found that most of the medical students had high self-awareness and motivation. Uh, Self-awareness about 98.08% and motivated about 98.72% to e-learning during COVID-19 pandemic. Next, please. So the conclusion of this research is self-awareness is associated with motivation on e-learning during COVID-19 pandemic among medical students at the Universitas Islam Al-Azhar Mataram, West Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia. The keyword of this research is self-awareness, motivation, e-learning, COVID-19 pandemic, and medical student. Next, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I can share for you today. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mrs. Dewi. And next participant, Mrs. Aena Mardiah, with the title Education and Knowledge Level about COVID-19 of Students in Faculty of Medicine, University of Islam Al-Azhar.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready, Miss
Okay.
Anna? Can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear your voice, and now you can present your first slide.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you can start now.
Can you share my PowerPoint?
Oh, sorry, it's wrong.
Yes.
Please.
My research about education and knowledge.
Yeah, please wait.
Okay.
Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Can I start? Okay. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Aena Mardiah. I come from Faculty of Medicine Universitas Islam Al-Azhar Mataram. My gratitude to conference committee for the opportunity being one of speaker in this conference. Today, I would like to share my study finding related to education and knowledge level about COVID-19 of students in Faculty of Medicine Universitas Islam Al-Azhar. Next slide, please. Okay, the outline that I will present, sorry. The outline that I will present start from background, then objective. After that, I will talk about my method, then result, and the end conclusion. Next. Next slide. Okay. The study background. Okay. This. Okay. Next. Okay. The study background, medical students are required to keep updating information related to health problems. COVID-19 pandemic increases massively in many countries day by day. In practice, medical students must pass several levels of education to become a doctor. During the several stages, medical students will be required to seek knowledge in accordance with the syllabus from medical university. During the COVID-19 pandemic, all medical students were sent home so that access to information related to science was unlimited. Okay, next. Based on, okay, next please. Based on that background, we would like to investigate correlation between level of education and knowledge about COVID-19 of students in Faculty of Medicine Universitas Islam Al-Azhar. Okay, next to the method. The approach this study was cross-sectional survey conducted at the Universitas Islam Al-Azhar, West Nusa Tenggara. Subject of the study was 156 students who studied in semester 2, 4, and 6. They were recruited by stratified random sampling technique. Independent variable was education level and dependent variable knowledge level. Then data was collected using a Google form questionnaire, and the data was analyzed by Casper. Okay, next. The result of the study. Okay. The result of the study, almost all of medical students have a good level of knowledge related to COVID-19. Like you can see on my slide, around 98%. That number consists of 32.68% from semester 2 and 29.41 from semester 4 and 37.18 were semester 6. However, we see from p-value that was mildly different. If we look at statistical requirement, the level of education and knowledge was not related. However, when we see the percentage knowledge level, there are point to discuss. The highest percentage was students semester 6 who are the highest level education compared to another semester. It can be assumed the level of education or semester could have influence to knowledge level. Regarding that we expect in the next study, we can do detailed analyzing using bigger number of data to compare each group of level education. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Based on our investigation, we conclude that there was no correlation between level of education and knowledge about COVID-19 of students in Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Islam Al-Azhar. If you interest in this study, you can share this article by using the keyword education level, knowledge, COVID-19, and medical student. Okay, that's all I can share for you. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you, Mrs. Aena Mardiah. Okay, now the next presenter, please, Mr. Alfian Muhajir, with the title Perceived Seriousness and Perceived Benefit of Worshipping Behavior Among Muslims During the COVID-19 Pandemic. Mr. Alfian Muhajir.
Hello.
Okay. Waalaikumsalam. Your voice is not clear. Can you louder, please? Louder.
Still not clear?
Okay, now it's very clear. Yes, you can present your PowerPoint, please.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Alfian Muhajir. Nice to meet you all. I'm a lecturer and medical doctor at the Faculty of Medicine at Universitas Islam Al-Azhar. I'm from Mataram, Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara. Okay. At the first, I would like to thank the organizing committee for the Strada International Conference of Health. It's a good event, yeah? And best regards to all presenters for this season. At this opportunity, I will present the results of my research on Muslims' perception in the pandemic era, especially Muslim on Lombok Island. And the title I use is Perceived Seriousness and Perceived Benefit of Worshipping Behavior Among Muslims During the COVID-19 Pandemic in Central Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara. For the introduction, the people of West Nusa Tenggara are known closely with Islam, especially people on the Lombok Island. There are about 9,000 mosques in Lombok. Mosques are witness to how Islam thrives in Lombok. For worshipping is a necessity for Lombok Muslims, especially during the holy month of Ramadan. Tarawih prayer and other worship in the mosque have become a habit necessity for Lombok Muslims. However, this habit must change since COVID-19 became a pandemic in the world. People can worship in mosques freely to avoid physical contact actually, or commonly called physical distancing as a protocol to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Okay, and for the background, through the Ministry of Religion, the Indonesian government failed to all Muslims to worship at home during the holy month of Ramadan. The government aims to minimizing the risk of transmitting the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID. The rise in the COVID case and government spill in this regard has provided a variety of perception within society, including the perception of the seriousness of COVID's impact and the perception of the benefit of the government appeal. And then I want to know how it relates to the behavior of worship in the mosque, which has become a habit and community need, because I believe that controlling worship behavior can reduce the number of COVID-19 transmission as well. Okay, next. For purpose, this study was conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic to see the relationship between perceived seriousness and perceived benefit with Muslim worship behavior. Next, about method. Okay. This study used a cross-sectional survey and conducted in Central Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara. A total of 43 Muslims was selected using confidence sampling. For the initial stage, I think it is sufficient to use the confidence sampling technique. For the independent variables or perceived seriousness and perceived benefit, the dependent variable was worship behavior. Data were collected using a questionnaire by Google Form. The data were analyzed using chi-square. Next. And for the result, is a total of 43 Muslims had perceived seriousness with percentage of 83.37%. Click more. Okay. For the perceived seriousness with a percentage of 83.37% and perceived benefit with a percentage of 86.05%. During the COVID pandemic, a total of 36 people were self-report worship at home with a percentage of 83.72%. And the perceived seriousness was not statistically related to worship behavior at home during the COVID pandemic, with a significance value is 0.811. While the perception of benefit was statistically related to worship behavior, no. While the perception of benefits was statistically related to worship behavior at home during the COVID pandemic, with a significance value is less than 0.001. Okay, next. And for the conclusion, is perceived benefit related to the Muslim decision to worship at home during the COVID-19 pandemic. In this research, I use keyword perceived seriousness, perceived benefit, worship, Muslims, and COVID-19. You can find this for my keyword. Next. Okay, that's all my presentation. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Alfian Muhajir. And now we move to other participant, Mr. Artha, Budi, Susila, Duarsa. with the title Factor Associated with Knowledge on COVID-19 Prevention in Central Lombok District. Mr. Artha Budi Susila Duarsa.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I will please you to present your PowerPoint.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to quickly introduce myself. I am Artha Budi Susila Duarsa from the Faculty of Medicine, Al-Azhar Mataram Islamic University. It is a great honor for me to be able to present my research on SRADA International Conference on Health. I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about factors associated with knowledge on COVID-19 prevention in West Nusa Tenggara. Well, the presentation will begin with coronavirus as the current outbreak. Next, please. Coronavirus outbreak is still a worldwide big concern. In Indonesia, as of 12 August 2020, the number of COVID-19 cases reached 130,718. It is deemed necessary for the public to receive comprehensive and correct education about COVID-19, particularly with regard to occurring cases and how to handle them. Therefore, there should be available which discusses the level of knowledge of the various community in its region. Next, please. Next slide, okay. The purpose of this study was to examine the vector associated with the level of COVID-19 knowledge with Nusa Tenggara. Next slide, please. Next slide.
Please wait a moment.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yes.
This was a cross-sectional survey study conducted in West Nusa Tenggara. There were 385 who included using simple random sampling. Age, gender, education, occupation, and income were the independent variable. The variable dependent was the knowledge on COVID-19 prevention. Data were collected using questionnaires. The questionnaires itself had been distributed by Google Form. And then the data were analyzed using chi-square. Next slide, please. The results show that the percentage of knowledge on the prevention of COVID-19 in West Nusa Tenggara was 6.75% lacking, 9.87% sufficient, and 83.38% good. Next slide, please. After data had been analyzed, we found out the education odds ratio 4.23 and p-value 0.040 was statistically associated with knowledge on COVID-19 prevention, while gender, age, occupation, and income were statistically not associated with knowledge on COVID-19 prevention because the p-value were above 0.05. Next slide, please. So, the conclusion of the study is knowledge in the prevention of COVID-19 is associated with the education level among people in West Nusa Tenggara. The keyword in this study is age, gender, education, occupation, income, and COVID-19. Next slide, please. That's all from me. Thank you for your listening. May all those we have shall be beneficial for all of us. Thank you.
Okay,
Assalamualaikum
thank you.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for Mr. Artha Budi Susila Duarsa. And now to the next speaker, Mrs. Ayu Anulus with the title Knowledge, Attitude, and Physical Distancing Behavior in West Nusa Tenggara. Mrs. Ayu, do you hear my voice?
Yeah, I do.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, okay. Can you try again your sound, please, your voice?
Hello? Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, yeah. Yeah, you can present your PowerPoint now.
Okay, thank you. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to quickly introduce myself. I am Ayu Anulus from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Islam Al-Azhar, Mataram. Firstly, I would like to greet the team of the Second Strada International Conference on Health for their great efforts so we can meet and share our research in this great forum. It's an honor for me to be a part of the participant. So today I'd like to take this opportunity to discuss about knowledge, attitude, and physical distancing behavior in West Nusa Tenggara. Next slide, please. Yeah. So why we talk about this study? It is because we have a big concern on pandemic COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic is a form of danger that has the potential to threaten all aspects of people's lives, such as social, economic, psychological, and health. The Indonesian government has made great effort to reduce the spread of this virus through different policies, including urging people to stay at home, closing schools and offices, wearing masks, and finally, implementing a policy of physical distancing. Next slide, please. Yeah. And what about the purpose of this study? This study aims to examine the association between knowledge, attitude, and physical distancing behavior among people in West Nusa Tenggara. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. We are using a cross-sectional survey study design with a total of 385 people in West Nusa Tenggara were enrolled using the simple random sampling technique. The independent variables were knowledge and attitude, and the dependent variable was physical distancing behavior. The data were collected using online questionnaire and were analyzed using chi-square. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. For the result, we found out that 83.38% had good knowledge and 92.83% had positive attitude toward COVID-19 pandemic. However, most people in West Nusa Tenggara reported that they did not implement the recommendation to prevent COVID-19, namely physical distancing behavior of at least 1 meter with other individual. After we analyzed the data using chi-square, we found out that knowledge and attitude were statistically not associated with physical distancing behavior during the COVID-19 pandemic because the p-value were above 0.05. Next slide, please. So we conclude that knowledge and attitude are not associated with physical distancing behavior during the COVID-19 pandemic among people in West Nusa Tenggara. The keywords are knowledge, attitude, physical distancing behavior, and COVID-19. Next slide, please. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Mrs. Ayu Anulus. And now we go to next presenter, Mrs. Dany Karmila. Mrs. or Mr. here?
Mrs.
Okay, Mrs. Dany
Yes,
Karmila
I'm
with the
here.
title Gender and Preventive Behavior on COVID-19 Among People in West Nusa Tenggara. Now you can present your PowerPoint.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, hello, good afternoon everyone. An honor to meet you at the second Strada International Conference on Health 2020. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dany Karmila. I'm from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Islam Al-Azhar Mataram, Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia. Today, I would like to talk my research, and title is Gender and Preventive Behavior on COVID-19 among people in West Nusa Tenggara. Okay, so I will start my presentation. Next slide, please. Okay. As we all know, the coronavirus infection is called COVID-19 or coronavirus disease 2019 and was first discovered in the city of Wuhan, China at the end of December 2019. This virus is spreading very quickly and has spread to almost all countries, including Indonesia. The World Health Organization said the coronavirus pandemic or COVID-19 on March 11, 2020. In Indonesia itself, the first case was found in early February 2020. The province of West Nusa Tenggara is one of the provinces in Indonesia included in the top 7 provinces with the most cases COVID-19. So that the government continues to make the effort to conduct early detection of residents who have the potential to contract the corona. Next slide, please. Okay, the background of our research is the Indonesian COVID-19 pandemic is part of the ongoing global coronavirus disease pandemic. In the case of COVID-19, current worldwide statistics show more men than women who die of acute infection, while women are estimated to suffer more long-term from the pandemic's health, economic, and social consequences than men. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, next, the purpose of our research is this study aims to look at the relationship between gender and preventive behavior on COVID-19 among general people. Next. Okay, then the method I use in this research is, this was a cross-sectional study conducted in West Nusa Tenggara. A total of 386 people were enrolled using simple random sampling technique. The independent variable was gender, and the dependent variable was preventive behavior on COVID-19. Data were collected using a Google Form Google Form questionnaire. The data were analyzed using chi-square. Okay, next. After doing the analysis, the results of this study are, from a total of 386 subject study, I got the univariate analysis is the majority of research subjects were male is 54, 46.55%, and 45.45% were female. 73.51% of total population had good preventive behavior on COVID-19. And I got bivariate analysis, there was a statistically significant relationship between gender and preventive behavior on COVID-19. The significant value is 0.001. Okay, next. And finally, the conclusion that I can convey from this research is gender is associated with preventive behavior on COVID-19 among people in West Nusa Tenggara. And the keyword is gender, preventive behavior, COVID-19, West Nusa Tenggara. Okay, next. So many presentations from me. Hopefully it can add information about COVID-19. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Mrs. Dany Karmila, for your presentation. And now we reach to the last presenter. Okay, for last presenter, please, Mrs. Dasti Anditiarina.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. And your title is Perception and Behavior of Online Learning Among Medical Students in the Faculty of Medicine, University of Islam Al-Azhar. Okay, you can present your PowerPoint in 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Miss Moderator. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Still stay here together us. Very honored to meet you all here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Dasti Anditiarina, medical doctor and aviation medicine specialist from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Islam Al-Azhar, Mataram. Next slide, please. Okay, as a background, how we did our research, Indonesia is preparing to facing COVID-19 by implementing a policy to temporarily suspend face-to-face activities on universities. Next slide. And based on the letter from Dirjen Dikti, Ministry of Education and Culture, one of point mentioned for all university or all colleges that can do learn from home to all students. The policy aims to prevent COVID-19 infection from spreading. Nevertheless, not all universities and students can easily accept and carry out the online learning process, of course, because of we never know or we never get how 2 minutes about education during pandemic situation. Next slide. And our purpose to examine the relationship between perception and behavior on online learning among students at the Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Islam Al-Azhar Mataram during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide. And this is our method for study design. We choose a cross-sectional survey conducted at Universitas Islam Al-Azhar Mataram West Nusa Tenggara. And our study subject a total of 156 students was selected using purposive sampling. And the independent variable was perception. The dependent variable was online learning behavior. And the data were collected using an online questionnaire and were analyzed using chi-square. Next slide. And this is the result of our research. We found that 73.58% had positive perception on implementing the online learning. Next slide. And online learning behavior were good, about 62.26%, and bad about 37.74%. Next slide. And perception online learning behavior with chi-square test with p-value was 0.017. Next slide. And finally, our conclusion, perception is relates with the online learning behavior among medical students at Universitas Islam Al-Azhar Mataram during the COVID-19 pandemic. And there are our keywords. That's COVID-19, perception, behavior, and online learning. Okay, thank you so much for watching and attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi 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 Om.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mrs. Dasti Anditiarina, for your presentation, and Alhamdulillah, we finish all the participants to present your PowerPoint. And ladies and gentlemen, before I end our meeting today, I would like to share information regarding the registration of new students of Strada Indonesia Institute of Health Science. IIK Strada Indonesia has 3 faculties, namely Faculty of Health, Nursing, and Postgraduate. In the Faculty of Nursing, there is a Bachelor of Nursing, Nurse Profession, Bachelor of Midwifery, Diploma 4 Midwifery, Diploma 3 Midwifery, and Midwifery Profession. In the Faculty of Postgraduate Studies, there is a Master of Public Health and Master of Nursing. More fully, you can access through the link and pmb.iik strada@ic.ac.id, and you can look everything about IIK Strada there. And ladies and gentlemen, finally we are come to the last session. Before I end the event today, I will announce who is the best presenter today. Okay, and maybe everyone is getting hurt bit quickly. Please wait, I will take a look who is the best of oral presentation. And the winner is Mr. Artha Budi Susila Duarsa. Yes, give applause. Congratulations, Mr. Artha Budi. Okay, you can give us maybe 1 or 2 words to speech. Okay. Yes, please, Mr. Artha.
Thank you for appreciation about my presentation, and I'm very happy in International Conference, Strada International Conference. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Artha Duarsa, and congratulations on the effort and hard work so that it can be the best presenter. Okay, and as an appreciation, then the committee will provide a certificate as the best presentation, and you are entitled to follow to the next international conference event free and free of charge. So it's free, yay. Okay. Okay, before we close this agenda, we will take picture in every view of the participant. Please open your mask and open your camera. Okay, everyone has opened your camera and don't forget to smile. Mr. Nursefa, can you open your masker? Because I can't see your face. Okay, okay. And now, please smile and I will count up to 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Okay. Next, please, I want to see your thumbs up in your screen, please. Everyone have thumbs up. And now, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then please cross hand like this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again, please, love hand, please, like this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank you for all presenters and audience for good participation. Hopefully this presentation will give us benefit. Thank you for your attention. Good evening and see you. Good afternoon and see you at the next conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wabarakatuh.